this minor. I think them and I mean, there's so many people in the EU minor. It's going to be the most competitive minor we have here. Obviously getting into it straight away. It's going to be the pistol around Optic starting on the T side of Mirage. It's going to be two smokes heading into the B bomb site, and 3D Max they've got a hold on somehow. Shaping up to be a pretty decent round to start things off. It's going to be into the A bomb site. Two players drop Cajun B straight away, taking Macas down, and that will open up a huge opportunity as the two players push into CT spawn. David P just expecting a player to perhaps come into his crosshair, but they're not overextending Optic. They know that this is a possibility. Instead, we'll just try and hold down this area of the map so their teammates can come in. That bomb going to go down, and the retake has to come in from 3D Max.
Yeah, it took a while for the bomb to go down, so 3D Max have time here. As we see Lucky get himself a frag. They still need to frag out though, without the kit in play, and Snappy has just got himself another headshot, so it's looking good for the Danes. Lucky needs to win this fight. Oh, Jax gets the headshot instead. The frag's coming in all across the board, but it's Jax who is left in a 1v2. The most recent addition to 3D Max going to have to try and clutch this one out. The bomb is planted safe, which could be a little bit of a concern, but it's not going to matter because Gade wins that duel. And it will be Optic to get off to the good start they were looking for. And unfortunately for 3D Max, they were just not really near enough to that A bomb site. As soon as Optic had control there, it always felt like they were likely going to be the ones winning that round. But we are going to see 3D Max force up. So Optic not out of the woods just yet.
Now, 3D Max, they have invested themselves in a scout, a couple of pistols, and Optic Gaming, it's going to be pretty heavy on the SMG buy. They've got two rifles, a AK-47 on Cajun B, and a config going to carry himself over a Galil. Nice quick smoke into middle, one for the short position as well. So Optic electing to just try and take mid pretty early on. That flashbang towards the connector allows Snappy to peek in. Spots that is completely clear, and now Optic, yeah, they have mid control pretty easily, so Snappy going to back up off towards short. And because there's no one in the connector, it's going to be pretty easy to get up towards that position. So Optic, they are round to go, and this should be a B split coming in. There goes Config. Opening kill coming in. Oh, Lucky actually landing one shot with a scout from behind, though, is Snappy. UMP going to come in, Lucky going to fall, and we got a 3 versus a 5 on our hands.
Yeah, it looks like Optic will be able to close out this second round win, potentially without any casualties here. Config and Snappy down pretty low on health, but we are going to see Optic certainly win this round. Again, we can also just talk about the two teams' sort of paths to making it to this minor, because Optic had a very, very convincing run. They got here with 3 wins, 0 losses. They ended with a 2-0 victory against Left Out to secure their spot here. Whereas 3D Max, I mean, they got off to that good start, upsetting NiP. And then, you know, it kind of got a little bit worrying for them. They lost the next 2 games, but they managed to eventually grind it out, only getting here with a 3-2 scoreline. So it was obviously a much more difficult run for 3D Max. But then again, the expectations for these two teams are very different. 3D Max just making it to this point is already a big positive for them, and we'll see what they have to offer here in this one, as they do at least save a few guns to try and do some damage into this next round.
Obviously not having too much to work with. It's going to be 2 CZs. They've got themselves a scout, so obviously they'll just try and get as much damage done as possible. Heavy stack towards the A-bombs, like 4 players, in fact, in David P. They just try and peek out towards middle, but they've made the right call in terms of where to stack, because look where the bomb is located, and the vast majority of the Optic players are over towards that A bomb site, and they've got a player inside the ramp. The bomb's still not really in their control just yet. They'll walk back and pick that up eventually when they decide to commit into the bomb site, but 3D Max could be in for a couple of frags here, because Optic about to commit into the A site. However, they will send Yugi out to gather the info first. He gets his head ripped off, traded back by Snappy, and here comes the rest of the Optic side. Cajun B and Snappy, they make it work onto 2 players, and Macas gets absolutely ripped to shreds, and it's now David P left in a 1 versus 3. He's got that scout inside of the connectors, looking up towards the top, seeing what he can find, but it's not going to be too much, so decides to fall back. And all the way he goes back up towards short. Catch out Snappy, lands the shot but not lethal, and that will be 3-0 for Optic. Exactly how you'd expect after winning the pistol. Pretty easy cleanup for the first 3 rounds. This is sort of their first challenge, right? You got the buyout for 3D Max. It's going to be the 4 rifles along with the AWP. And over on Optic, it's going to be the AKs, Galil, and UMP. It's just a bonus round, really. So this is best case scenario for 3D Max is that they win this and put themselves in a position where they may be able to get a decent start into the first half.
Yeah, and just in general, talking about the 3D Max roster, I think, you know, most people, they'll be aware of this Optic lineup, but for 3D Max, some of these players obviously are quite unknown. And I would say Jax is definitely one of the more well-rounded players on the team. He was a very recent addition to this squad. He came over from MV Academy, as the desk was saying, and yeah, he's certainly a very well-rounded player, and we're already going to see Jax get the opening kill of the round. Push coming in towards B. There's still 2 CTs here as David P gets one of his own. Jinx isn't going to win that fight, but it's still a man advantage for 3D Max. They're fighting back, though, as Cajun B finds a double. Now it's a 2v2 with the bomb site being lost, so even though that was looking pretty good for 3D Max, as Optic get the bomb down, they're probably in the better position here.
Optic just waiting. This retake is about to come in. 3D Max again, like I said, coming in from the same position. Makes retakes extremely difficult. And Cajun B, he's got such a good angle for this. Anybody to come into his crosshair, he'll certainly take him down. And there we go. Lucky got a fall first. Mac is with the AWP. You just look to him to try and get this into the next round. There's no way he's going to win this one. So he backs out of the kitchen, just runs away back towards A. Great job done by Optic. Again, Cajun B has come out firing on all cylinders. 3 kills in that round. Obviously looked good towards the start, working with Snappy as they move in towards A. And so far, you can just see sort of the difference of the EU minor already. You can just see how coordinated the pushes are, how they're working as a team. It's incredibly effective.
Yeah, certainly compared to the Asian minor earlier, a lot of the rounds were, you know, kind of sloppy, I guess, some of the time. I mean, you would still have some good rounds, but yeah, the utility usage, I think, really is the main thing. We're seeing these nades be utilized very, very well. We'll see what Maka can do with the AWP. Other than that, 3D Max just have pistols to play with. Maka's going to put the smoke down to connector to extinguish that molly. So he's going to be able to hold mid if he wants to. Currently is in towards connector. In the meantime, Jax is alone towards A. He's taken up an advanced position so he can get the early info. The CZ could get a kill up close, but oh, Config, despite taking a dink, replies with a headshot of his own. Maka's going to get a kill with his AWP though, so maybe some sort of chance, but 3D Max will have to concede the bomb site.
Good, got to get that bomb down, punch in the digits, but Jinx will say something about that. Kill comes in from the CZ from CT spawn. Maka able to make one work with the AWP as well. So it's on to Config and Yugi. Yugi finds one, gets dropped by Maka, so it's on to Config. Up close shot, second as well. And Config nearly gets it done, but Jinx will follow it up with a CZ from behind.
For a second there, I thought it was happening. Whenever you see Config play, you always feel like it's going to work out for him. Really nice kill from Jinx though. Denying the bomb made a huge difference in this round, and that allowed Maka's AWP to really make the difference for the CT side. But Config only having the left mouse button, clearly doesn't need to scope in. It's going to be Yugi, back on the AWP now, as you would kind of expect, but also a double AWP setup for the CT side. So as soon as they get that money, they decide to buy up these AWPs. And again, you can see the flash is looking pretty good on both sides. Yugi gets blinded up, but no kill found because of it. Just talking about Cajun B as well, he's definitely been, you kind of expect him to be that sort of middle-of-the-ground player, but I think he's found really, really good form recently. I've been pretty impressed with him whenever I've seen Optic play. And I think he definitely provides a lot to the team, as we were saying, as the sort of backbone of the side, just to make sure that, you know, Config can make the rest of the plays. And he's also still fragging very well.
So Optic have 3 players inside of the connector, 1 inside of Palace and 1 in the ramp. It's going to be a pretty standard A split coming through, which has been somewhat what they've been doing throughout the start of the game. It's been very effective indeed, and Lucky is going to be posted up inside of CT spawn. The AWP just ready for anybody to come towards him. They know it's going to be an A split, but they just can't deal with it. This Molotov usage is incredible. There's no way you get out of that. And Yugi and Snappy, they find 2. Lucky just got a hold with the AWP, takes down Config, looks for a little bit more, grabs that as well. Although the Molotov again finding its next victim. That's now all Maka's. He's got a 1 versus 3. Gonna throw the flashbang over the top. They know he's coming in from CT. He's blinded 2 players. Gets that kill before he gets blinded himself. And now this looks pretty good from him. This is doable. He's got a player up inside of the Palace, but the flank is coming in. I don't think he hears the footsteps. No, he's too far away. Snappy gets in behind, but Maka's, he's going to get dropped surely, but somehow he's still alive, and Optic just not overextending. Don't want to give him a chance at all. And Yugi staying up inside of the Palace, and Makaz will go down. 5-1, and Optic Gaming really is showing their skills early on here on Mirage.
Yeah, that was an ambitious no-scope at the end there, but like you were saying, that utility usage was so impressive because the player gets stuck in the molly in towards Under Palace because of the nade. You know, it wasn't even about the nade doing the damage, it was about the nade slowing him down, keeping him in the molly. Jax just had no chance to do anything there. And we are going to see 3D Max take their first tactical timeout, just 6 rounds in. And I think, okay, they might be forcing up into this round because they just got reset in terms of their money. Maka will be able to buy some sort of rifle. He could go for the AWP if he wants to, but everyone else has incredibly low money. So it's likely just going to be pistols, mainly CZs for the rest of the 3D Max lineup, but it's certainly not going to be that great of a buy for them. I'm mainly just interested to see what Maka decides to buy up here, because again, he could go for the AWP without the Kevlar, and that's exactly what we'll see. It's mainly up to Maka to make the difference in this round. We'll see if he can on towards that sniper. But again, Optic's utility usage has been so good that you would assume that utility usage is what can really work well generally to counter the AWPs. So that's likely what we'll be seeing come out of Optic, as we already see Snappy and Cajun B stick together to try and take mid.
Another set piece from Optic Gaming. They threw the smokes over towards the A bomb site. Their bloom was perfectly timed. Cajun B getting boosted up inside a window, and if Lucky is not careful, he could get himself dropped pretty quickly here. Snappy makes his way inside of the connector, yet again left open by 3D Max. And Snappy will just push through. Jax connects onto Config, so he goes down early doors. He's going to be down to Cajun B. He's going to get dropped as well. The AWP of Mac is really showing up here. If he can get a little bit more as these players begin to cross over towards the A site. Good utility usage once again, but he takes Yugi. And now it's into a 2 versus 4. Snappy and Gade, they're up against 4 of the 3D Max players. The bomb does go down. Missed shot. That's a huge opportunity for Optic now. As Snappy just pushes into CT, finds 2 kills. And now this looks incredible for Optic. They just need to hold on. 3D Max coming in with a very doable retake. There's the kill towards CT. It falls all onto Gade. He was highlighted as being one of the newer players, but he's showing up already, and he wins the clutch. 1 versus 2. 6-1 is the scoreline in Optic Gaming. That came close, but Gade, he wins it out in the end.
And that was a 2 versus 4 that Optic managed to overturn there. Really, it should never have gone that way, but Snappy making the difference to bring it back to that 2v2 initially. And then Gade looking pretty composed under pressure there, despite being one of the younger players on the team. So that's always a positive sign. And unfortunately for 3D Max, that was a really, really big opportunity for them, because now, yet again, they're forced down to an eco. They start to fall really far behind. This one could get out of control if they aren't careful. They've got the one flash that can go towards mid, but Jax is on the A site with that flash, and he is getting overwhelmed. I think he maybe threw the flash before he died, but oh, Snappy having a great time with the MAC-10. Gets himself 3 kills and $1,800 as a reward for that. Just Jinx left, finds the dink, but it's not enough. Optic with a 7-1 scoreline. And 3D Max, I mean, they will probably buy, but they likely will be missing some nades. We haven't really seen too many full buys from them so far in terms of having that full utility, and I think Maka hopefully will buy the kit here. No, he goes for the incendiary, so no kit on the CT side either.
It's going to be playing for elimination. Quick retakes if needed. So 7-1, Optic Gaming coming into this one looking very strong indeed. Definitely showing why they're the favourite to win this, though Config unable to get the entry frag, instead eliminated by Jinx. So Gade will be there to try and follow up. He's able to do damage, but not able to get the kill. And again, it's a 2-man advantage this time for 3D Max, so this is looking quite good from them. Considering that, you know, Optic have been dominating throughout. 2 interesting plays towards B. Gade perhaps gets a little bit unlucky on the spray there, but Config goes down for free. And this is a bit of a worry for Optic Gaming, as Yugi gonna move his way up short. AWP looks towards the site, doesn't spot anybody just yet. But it's a 2-man advantage for 3D Max.
This is something Sponge pointed out on the desk, that Yugi's really confident with his mid play. He has no support right now, but he's going for the fights. This is incredible to see. I mean, the vent isn't broken, so he's not going to be able to go through that direction. He does have to help his team on the A play, so he's forced to push into connector. That's not going to be an easy position to play from with the AWP. Maka is low at the back of the site. There are 2 mollies still in play for Optic, so that could be a factor. But again, Yugi sneaking his way forwards. Is he going to clear the correct position? That becomes the question. With 25 seconds left, 3D Max seem to be rotating a little bit over towards the A site, but Yugi with a great flick opens things up, and Maka also falls. Yugi goes a bit too far. He will go down. However, Optic have themselves a very doable round, especially as Snappy finds 2. How does he get both headshots there? That is insane, and David P is in trouble.
David P in a 1 versus 2. Look towards Underwood. Didn't register that Snappy was standing there, and Snappy was actually blinded when he got those 2 kills as well. So incredible play from him to be able to take both down. A little bit of luck there as well, but the play from Yugi, just walking up middle, all the way up short, through ladder room on his own, no support. I think it's starting to play into it. There's that double spray from Snappy, but yeah, I think it's starting to play into, 3D Max seem to be leaving connector open a lot of the time, leaving mid kind of open, and that's allowing Yugi to get into positions like that. So that's really helping that way.
I think that's because they haven't had the AWP as well. These buys have been so limited, they've had to give up mid. And yeah, as you were saying, certainly Optic have taken advantage of that to the fullest. I think we've seen 3D Max have, what, 1 full buy so far? If you really think about having full, nades and the AWPs as well. So that's certainly a concern for them. As we see the A play come in, maybe a chance here. Lucky trying to play in the midst of the smoke, but you can see instantly mollied away. This utility usage has been so good. Config does go down after jumping for the information. The rotate is coming through, but again, the bomb will go down, and 3D Max can't do anything about it.
No, Yugi though, he's got to find one with the AWP as well, and Snappy not allowed to get any more. As it will be a 3 versus 2 man advantage for 3D Max into the retake. However, it's only pistols to work with, no rifles to be seen. In KJB, he's going to step up. One comes in, gets dropped through the woods, so it's all onto Yugi. AWP in this close quarter position, and it's not going to work. 3D Max with the Deagles, and they will get this defuse in, and 8-2. They get the second round on the board, but now this is their opportunity into the half. They're not going to have too much to work with, but it's going to be their full buy. It's going to be like the first full buy that they're going to have.
You can see Malik, the man behind 3D Max, giving them some information. After they win the round, they take the timeout. As the Des was saying, a very, very experienced coach and previous player. So he will certainly help these inexperienced 3D Max players out in terms of, their ideas. As he said in that interview before the game, he said, these 3D Max guys, they've got what it takes. He just had to show them some basic things to really bring them up to par. And that is what I'm sure he will be conveying to them right now. Either way, taking a look at the money side of things, even though Optic have an 8-2 lead, their money isn't anywhere near as good as you might expect. In fact, if 3D Max win this round, especially if they deny the bomb plant, Optic's buy could be weakened into the future. So this is really the pivotal moment of the half. If 3D Max win this round, they can certainly make it competitive, but if they lose here, Optic might just get too far ahead. As we head into this all-important round 11, Optic are going to lean towards A, and already they're pushing.
Lucky just has to hold from CT. They're right in front of him. You should hear the player on the opposite end of the box. The flashbang's in. He denies the bomb plant, but close is Config, and he will find the trade. So pulls it back into a 4 versus 4. And the Optic game, they're going to try and get this bomb down. They've done it. And the grenade going to land right on top of Snappy's head, and Config still inside of CT. David P jigs right through the box. Snappy loses his life, and it's now Config looking for a little bit more, but it's Yugi. Misses the shot, and that just opens up a huge opportunity, but Config's going ham. He finds himself 3, and it's all on to Mazik, or Makas, and he will find himself 1 with a pistol. Looking for Yugi, but taps the bomb. Is he going to stick this? Is he going to get it? Yugi needs to peek. He's missing the shot. He connects it, but it's a defuse. A ninja defuse for 3D Max, and that must be tilting for Config. What an individual play from him.
Man, Config tried to drag them through that rounds with this 4K. There's the first headshot. In the meantime, this was David P fighting over towards Palace. I'm surprised KJB was completely caught off guard by that. And then Config, how does he get these kills? Wow. That's an insane headshot on towards the second there. Beautifully done, but not enough. Even with 4 frags, Optic lose the round, despite Config trying his best. And Optic still have a bye here, so they're not in as bad shape as I initially anticipated. But this is the position where they certainly would be forced back to an eco if they were to lose this one. Mid-play coming through. Oh, good nade. Snappy this time, down to 50 HP. He's taken a couple of nades already. So that's a nice little start to the round. Nothing too crazy, but good damage done. In the meantime, Optic will have a fair few players leaning towards B. So I assume this will likely just be a pretty standard B split. We'll see if it works out for them. As you can see, David P and Jinx will have this crossfire in towards B apps, and they could certainly lock that down.
Config able to trade back onto Jax, and it will be an equilibrium 4 versus 4 game though. Spot site. Jinx takes him down, and now opens up the B bomb site. Comes down to David P. Has a lot of work to do. Gonna push on to it. It's Cajun B in behind. David P falls, and now Makis has all the work to do with the pistol. Pulls it out, gets the kill. Now back into a 2 versus 3. The bomb has gone down for Optic on the B bomb site. The grenade gonna follow up. Thrown by Lucky from the kitchen. He's just looking for a little bit of space to work with, although Optic are going to hold him out. Yugi able to pick up that kill, and now Makis falls as well. Scoped up towards the apartments. Gate comes in from below, and that is the kill for Optic and the round for them as well. 9-3 is the scoreline, and that's already a pretty solid half. Even if 3D Max were to win every single round left of the half, this is already a great half from Optic. So they should be pretty happy with this. I think they'll definitely want to go for more, and it's definitely a possibility. We're likely to see more anyway, because if you look at the buy from 3D Max, it's not too much. Yeah. And also, you know, we'll probably see Optic. It's a possibility because he had 12-3 half, which would be incredible.
So this is a full force buy for 3D Max. I'm not sure Optic were aware of this. They bought a Mac 10 into this round, so I think they may have assumed that 3D Max were on a low buy themselves. And you can see they get caught off guard in towards mid. It's actually 3D Max with a man advantage now. Yugi switching it out, wants the AK, finds some damage in the spray. This is so awkward though. Through the smoke, Cajun finds one and another. It was actually Cajun flanking from the A bomb site. And Jinx might be in trouble. He has just given away his position, so Optic will be able to get themselves onto the A bomb site. Jinx gonna fake the flash his way through. I like the idea there. I think he tried to make the sound with the flash that it was going to be thrown. I think you can do that if you press the right click quickly, but this time it doesn't work out for him. And again, that means 3D Max are now down to an eco, and this first half I think is going to get a little out of hand. It could easily be a 12-3 half now.
This could definitely be a 12-3 half, and 3D Max, they don't have anything to work with, obviously, with a risky buy in the previous. So, Optic Gaming, this is their perfect position. Snappy, again, he's such a good player on the SMGs. Most of the highlights you've seen in the clips before the game began were Snappy with the SMGs finding multi-kills, but not this time. It's picked off by the USP. KJB gonna walk out of Palace, gets dropped by another USP, which pulls out an AK. But Gid and Yugi, they will pull it back, and now it's only Lucky. 7 HP with a Mac 10. And Config will find him hopping through the smokes, and we go 11-3. This is a very solid performance from Optic. This is the performance you'd expect to see from them. This is very, very one-sided.
Yeah, this time it is Lucky picking up the AWP for 3D Max. Normally Mackett is the primary AWPer, but he couldn't afford it. And even though Lucky can afford the AWP, he can't afford armor with that sniper, so he just has to stick with it. That's alright though, he is normally the secondary AWPer of the team anyway. In the meantime, Cajun B taking a second AWP for the T side, but oh, the boost comes through and Lucky manages to get the opening kill. It seemed like Yugi was a bit sort of unaware of that being a possibility. And that means that 3D Max get themselves the man advantage for the first time in quite a few rounds. Okay, going to be pushing through underpass. Decides not to go for the full-on aggression. That was a CT smoke. That can't have been what they planned. Or maybe it was, because Jax is playing on the edge of this one. I wonder if Optic will be aware. Okay, the team damage. I wonder if Optic are aware of this angle. Jax doesn't spot the player out, though. So this is very interesting. It looks like Optic have been able to gain mid control, but 3D Max have a couple of players in connector.
Config going to connect a headshot onto Jax, gets another as well as David P falls, and elsewhere Cajun B will rip apart Mackers, and this is just really toying with them at this point. Optic just very dominant indeed. 3D Max are unable to get anything done. It's just straight up Optic domination. And even in those scenarios, like he sees Gates coming through the vent before Gate even sees him, and Gate's still able to spin around and take the headshot before he dies. Lucky is there with the AWP, last player, he gets dropped as well, and 12-3 is the half from Optic Gaming, a very, very dominant one indeed. Now we've seen a couple of rounds picked up from 3D Max, you know, one sporadic there, and then they picked up 2 rounds where one of them was a ninja defused, you know, hasn't really been too much for 3D Max to feel confident about. I think it's been sometimes a little bit of luck perhaps, but We'll talk about that a little bit later on. We're going to see Optic Gaming again come back into the second half here with 12 rounds on the board. It's going to come down to this pistol. 3D Max need to pick this one up. It's crucial that they do. So it's going to be a lot of utility invested for 3D Max here, though.
Yeah, they clearly have something in mind. 2 smokes, a few flashes, and a molly. This smoke will go over towards kitchen from Maka, I believe. Snappy is peeking towards B, though. In fact, there are 2 players peeking towards the apartment. So Optic not holding that passive position like you oftentimes see teams go for. Here we go, Snappy. Ooh, quick headshot. Will they expect Cajun to be up close? No, they're not going to clear it. Cajun trying to unload. He only gets the 1 kill, but that should be enough. Optic just slowing things down, allowing the rotate to come in, and Cajun B doing work. Gets himself 3 frags. This round looks over and done with as Cajun even closes it out with a quad kill, and that might put an end to this map.
This is looking extremely dominant from Optic. Again, the pistol was very important for 3D Max. It would have opened up the second half a little bit more for them, opened up an opportunity to come back from it, but currently Optic Gaming, they just look fully in control. Cajun B is an absolute animal. If we look at his score, he's got himself 20 and 8 on the board. A huge performance from him, sitting at the top of Optic. Although Jackson David P, they're going to find themselves 2 with the Deagles. Gate and Yugi shut down early doors, and 3D Max, they have a chance to work with these pistols if they can win this second round. This is actually a way to open up the second half again. But they're going to be falling back up towards underpass, up towards the upper parts of it, and Snappy, he's got himself the UMP, just waiting for them to come into his crosshair. This could get great for Snappy, or he could fall, but he is going to pick up 1. That's all he'll get, and sees the rest running into the B bomb site. Cajun B needs to get on over. He's having an insane game, and he connects another headshot. The bomb is going down though. Just very cool, calm and collected, just trying to tap a couple of the heads of the 3D Max players as they do get themselves into the bomb site. They're kind of locked out of this one as well. They've got 2 players inside of the site and 1 up towards the van. So it's going to be difficult. They're stuck in the middle of the site.
Config thinking of going through the smoke, but he decides against it. Optic decide against this round. They're going to go ahead and save. And it looks like 3D Max won't be giving up without a fight just yet. Now, don't just say that because they're French. Got Config finding an exit kill. Is going to be 3D Max getting the rounds, though. And again, a very important round win, but they're not going to save any guns from this. Lucky and Jax just have the CZ and the Deag. Yeah, they can't find any rifles, so that's a bit of a concern for them. I mean, they can still buy up into this round, sure, but I think Optic will also be forcing. Actually, Optic might not force here. I think if they save one, they could have the money. So hopefully it will be an easy round win for 3D Max. But whatever happens, Optic have those 2 rifles saved. And we will see a small investment, a couple of pistols bought up. So 3D Max need to make sure they don't underestimate this buy from Optic. They're going to be leaning towards A, where currently Gade is the A bomb site anchor, but he's got some support now.
3D Max going to be fully committing towards the A bomb site, it looks as though. They have made their preference towards this side of the map, and Optic Gaming, they have 3 players over this area. So this could go pretty badly for 3D Max if they don't use their utility correctly. They're going to make their way over. Gade is there with the Deagle. Just getting ready for them to come towards him with the Yugi. He's going to be here with a P250, just waiting. Lucky got to come out. It's going to be flashbanged. 3D Max find the opening. Yugi falls. Now Gade, he has a lot of work to do with the Deagle. Just find 1 and it would have opened up Optic, but unable to do so. Instead, it's Snappy to crack 1 with the Deagle. And now Cajun B, another one from Snappy. He has the help of Cajun B with a rifle, but that flashbang, that's going to prevent him from getting any space, and he's going to get dropped. So it's all on to Snappy. He's found 2. Not a lot of money to work with for Optic. The bomb will go down for 3D Max. So Snappy, if you can find a little bit more with this Deagle, perhaps they can try and just get as much money as possible. I mean, Optic, they shouldn't really be feeling worried at all. I think it's 3D Max that should be feeling the pain a little bit, because obviously, even after all this hard work, they still have a good amount of rounds to win, but to even make it look close. So Optic pretty much in the driving seat still.
Yeah, definitely still a big advantage for them. Snappy's going to hear the steps. I think he's fine from the bomb. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. He's dead to the bomb. Sad times. No Deeg saved. Not a massive deal anyway, but yeah, a little bit unfortunate he dies to the bomb. He would have liked to save that Deeg in a perfect world. Instead, they're just going to have a couple of upgraded pistols. Config's got a Deeg of his own, though, so we can't underestimate them yet again, even though they have an even worse buy into this round. There's always the potential for something crazy, and this is something a bit crazy. They're going to go for the B site stack. Again, when you've only got the pistols, it's not too, you know, out of the ordinary to see a full-on stack of a bomb site and just hope that you get the guess correct. And we have seen 3D Max go towards B once or twice already, so it's not such a bad idea for them, especially considering, you know, they haven't invested a massive amount. Either way, it is going to be 3D Max leaning towards that B bomb site. So I think this will be quite a telling round. If 3D Max do start to move in towards B, I'm interested to see if they have got the sort of frame of mind or presence of mind to actually go back from that. Because if they run into this stack, it could be a very, very dangerous game.
They seem to want to test the waters towards middle to begin with, as that is the choke point that allows you to go between both areas of the map, which is pretty crucial when it comes into a round like this. We're not too sure what sort of buy Optic have. So if they are stacking towards B, you can quickly make your way back over towards A. So, you know, they're just trying to take control of that area of the map. And with 45 seconds left, they have to try and figure out something. 3D Max are going to actually pressure up towards short. They have a player inside of the connector, not spotting anything towards the A site. They're just going to walk right into B, where they're going to get ripped apart. Config, 2 kills. Snappy able to reply with 1, but that was insane from Config. Jack's just trying to get himself something as well here with the AK, just something to pull it back in favor of 3D Max somehow, but it's not happening. They walk right into the trap that has been laid for them, and Jax is now the last player, looking a little bit silly perhaps. 3D Max walk into that with full buy, and they just get ripped apart by the individuals of Config and Snappy. And Gear as well, he'll finish off the job. So, 14-5, an excellent round from Optic, a great little bit of skill from Config, just re-peeking from the bench. This is the kills here, just digs them twice. That second one was ridiculously accurate. And we go 14-5 for Optic Gaming. This is starting to look very good for the Danes.
Yeah, we kind of saw there. 3D Max, they looked like they were very committed to the B site. They weren't willing to go back there. And I think as soon as you push in towards short, that becomes the problem. Once those 2 players fall, you kind of have to try and push into the B site. You have to hope it's not a stack. And unfortunately for them, they do get caught out. Again, I think we'll see a couple of AKs for 3D Max. Jax with one of them in his hands. Again, I was saying before the game, I think Jax is one of the more consistent, well-rounded players on the team. He is up there towards the top of the scoreboard. But when you're 14-5 behind, you don't really care about the kills. It's all about the team game, all about the win, obviously. I'm not sure we'll be seeing 3D Max win unless they can get this round. Pretty much every round is a must-win for them at this point, but we are going to see the A-ramp push come through. Gade is up close. He's going to easily get that first frag, and oh, Jax does find the trade. Config didn't spot the player there, but it's Yugi to take the opponent out of action. And Config will finally go for some aggression, trying to stop the cross to the site. Config is going to get the first kill, and Jax is left in an almost unwinnable position. He needs the ace, and he's not going to find it. Optic up to 15, and I think this one is basically over and done with. And again, I don't think 3D Max have done anything too wrong. Like, the amount of rounds they've been not quite having the perfect buy has, I think, really been a problem for them, and that economic game has really gone against them.
Optic not really going against the grain at all. They're going to pick up the double up setup. They really want to win this here and not just make it as clean as possible, get the job done, and move on and think about your later games. 3D Max will be trying their best to try and get this round. It's going to be very, very difficult, especially with the CZs. Just 1 MAC-10 to work with, and the utility going to be used up. They run right into Cajun B, who's able to pick off 1. Jumps out of the apartments back into the site, into the waiting arms of Snappy. He'll pick up a little bit of an assist actually, but he'll follow up with one of his own as well. And Cajun B just absolutely rinsing them, and it will be Config to come in with the last. And 16-5 is the final scoreline from Optic Gaming, and they do defeat 3D Max, the first map, or the first best of 1 of the day for the EU map.